So I couldn't say how easy it was to feel at home in Brazil because they are just warm-hearted. They extend an invitation to you there. They just want to welcome you and make sure that you know that they love having you there.
Some numbers that they sing in Portuguese, and some numbers they sing in English.
We had a good network of American because the children went to American schools. We lived away from the mission office. We weren't close to it. And we lived on the 10th floor of a 25-story building. And there were 4 buildings in this complex called Portal do Morumbi. I didn't object to that at all. I was just fine. We got used to riding the elevator. And
been very happy here, and this has really become home to us. I don't think when John showed you the complex, he was telling the real reason that we lived here was because it's a very secure place to live in the big city of São Paulo. That is a major concern for us when we live in a big city, and there in São Paulo it's just not the safest city in the world to live in, and as long as our children are inside Portal, why?
the food there was just outstanding in every way. Instead of going to the grocery store to buy your produce and your vegetables and fruits, you would go to the feira. The feira was probably at a different place every day of the week, so you would choose what part of the neighborhood you wanted to go for that. Their mango, their papaya, their pineapple. Oh my goodness, it was just delicious.
Well, look at that camera and say, "Hi, everybody." Can you say, "Como vai?" Say, "Oi." Say, "Guarda-chuva."
We took over a mission that was running at a very high level. The previous mission president was Wilfred Carden, and Wilfred had the mission operating exactly like our mission operated under Grant Bangerter 20 years before then.
I'm at my office now to show you the board where the missionaries are. And this board allows a mission president to keep track of all his missionaries. Each missionary on this board has a color.
And the Bangerter way of doing it was very challenging, testifying, moving forward. It was not let the game come to you.
Lá em casa, então fala alguma coisa. Você começou a sua missão com que missionário?
Com que missionário, meu primeiro companheiro? Foi...
So when I got there, instead of saying there's going to be changes, I just, at a conference that he and I had together, said there's one big difference between he and I. And it was like, he likes Coke, I like cherry Coke.
All of the missionaries on this side of the board are Americans that have been called to our mission but aren't here yet. From this point up, these are young men and young women who have gone through the missionary training center in Provo but have not been able to obtain visas to get into the country.
I didn't worry about numbers, but many missionaries baptized almost every week of their mission. You think about baptizing every week, preparing people, because it isn't like you found somebody to baptize them immediately. You had to have people going down a funnel of contacting, teaching, committing, going to church, so that you could baptize every week. I felt that my job was to keep the desire, to keep the faith, to keep the spirits high. When I was a young missionary in Brazil, I spent a good deal of time in the mission home acting as the historian. That was a very unpleasant time for me because I did not particularly like to type, although I was a fast typist. I thought if there's anything I can do as a mission president to relieve the drudgery of typing, I'll do it. So I resolved that when I was called as a mission president, I would get some word processing into Brazil. And so I had a small Apple computer. It was called an Apple II with a little monitor on it that would play through a printer. And Apple gave you the rudiments of word processing. It had a little spell correction, but really you could have form letters and put them in there, change things around, and easily turn out voluminous amounts of correspondence. I put a couple of Apple computers in duffel bags with clothes, and then I took a commercial grade printer which could print beautifully and put it in an aluminum suitcase. When I arrived with my children, we went through what is called the Alfondega, or the customs house. And the guy said, "Do you have any electronics?" And I said, "Yes, that metal suitcase over there has a printer." And he took a look at it and he said, "You can't bring this printer in the country." And I said, "Okay, let's set it aside over here. I will return in a few days and pick it up and take it out." So I flew to Asunción, Paraguay, and took another flight to the very furthermost eastern city in Paraguay, which was known at that time as Stroessner, because the president of the country was named Stroessner. And they had a friendship bridge that went between Paraguay and Brazil, and you just walk across it. So I flew to Stroessner with my printer and just walked across the bridge to the other side, got myself a taxi, went to the airport. That airport was inside of Brazil. It was not an international airport. I got on a plane and flew back to Sao Paulo, and therefore I had 2 word processors and a printer in the office in the Sao Paulo South Mission, which setup was covered by the whole church office building, because they had nothing that was near or equal to what I had as a mission president.